special final warning. It's time for midnight sex in the morning. The gang is ready to go, and it's time for the show. It's time for midnight sex in the morning.
Oh, look who's here.
Hi.
Script
I hope,
doctor.
yeah, I hope
my
you guys
gosh.
don't mind. I'm going to be in the show, but I'm also going to be vacuuming my office at the same time. So
Multitasking Friday.
I'll try not to be too loud.
Nice bit.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
I like turtles.
Good morning, script doctor. How are you?
He's vacuuming.
Great.
He's
Yeah, he's
sucking.
vacuuming.
We also have
Yeah.
Paul Chatto here. How you doing? You're eating a sandwich.
Fresh sourdough just came out of the oven.
Did you bring enough to share, Paul? That's
Yeah.
the question.
No, he's a jerk. We also have Chris. How you doing, Chris?
I'm not getting my sandwich from Paul.
Told
I
you
know that.
he's
Yeah.
full of shit.
It's so bad. He's full of it, and script doctor is sucks today. So
I know, right?
I don't know what I'm doing, but I salute you guys. It is Friday. I thank God for that, and I'm glad to be here.
Culture sucks, and people have no problem with Black Vikings. It's fine. It's all good.
It's all good.
We also have Scribbles with us. How you doing?
Doing all right. Good morning. Oh, wait a second. It's Friday the 13th, isn't it?
Yes, today
Oh.
is his birthday.
I should have. Oh, wait. You know what? Let me. I think I brought something for the occasion. There we go. I fixed it.
Oh, sweet.
I'm ready.
Love it.
I'm,
Nice
I'm-
work.
I'm ready for the day.
Right.
I got my machete. Got my mask. I'm good to go.
You know what?
Well-
In Oslo, there's actually a special screening of Jason Goes to Hell tonight.
There you go.
There you go.
Nice.
Classic.
Because if I can for a few seconds, Andre, and good morning.
Go for it.
Paramount should be ashamed of itself.
Well,
They're not doing jack shit for the 45th anniversary of Friday the 13th today. Today is the day the first movie came out, Friday the 13th, June 1980.
Wow.
We're getting a few screenings all over the country. That's about it. The Blu-ray, the 4K Blu-ray, has been fucked up for the last 3 or 4 years. They could have fixed that and put that out. No, they haven't done that. They ain't done shit. We ain't had a Friday the 13th movie in 20 fucking years. Actually,
As I like to
20
point, yeah. As I like to, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
not
I
quite
just-
20 years, but almost 20 years.
yeah, getting there. As I like to point out, the single biggest gap between Friday the 13th movies is the one we are in right now, and it's getting bigger by the day.
yep.
Yeah.
Is 45th anniversary like really a thing? I'm asking for a friend. That's the truth.
No, probably not. But Chris, you're not going to get a Friday the 13th for the 50th. This is the golden anniversary. You're never going to get another one of these for another 6 years or whatever.
Okay.
So,
Hmm.
you know, like a Friday the 13th.
I got you.
June.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. When is the anniversary of Saturday the 14th? I really enjoyed that.
That was a year after, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Can we get a sequel to that so we get sort of a double
Sunday
header?
the 15th. I'm hoping for
Sunday
that
the
sooner or
15th.
later.
Yeah, that'd be good. And we could go watch Spaceballs 2 right before it or after it or something.
You know what's funny is Friday the 13th part 3 technically takes place on Saturday the 14th.
And that is a 3D
That's
picture.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
And
Yeah.
Friday the 13th
Friday the
part
13th
4 takes place on Sunday. But yeah,
Is Friday the 13th the franchise that includes Jason
Jason
That's the one.
Voorhees.
Yes.
Yes.
with the goalie mask?
yes, good
Yes.
point. Good job. You got points this
Right
morning.
here, Paul.
Yeah. Look at my avatar.
Yeah,
Yes.
see?
Yes.
Dressed
Oh.
for the occasion.
Okay, that's too small. Your avatar's way too tiny.
Not to
Oh.
be confused with the guy who wears like skin masks for face. That's in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right.
Yeah, but this is
Or the
this is
guy
a
that
good
wears
one.
the Captain Kirk reverse mask. That's Halloween. So
Although
Yes.
I am impressed that you remembered that it's Jason who is the primary killer for Friday the 13th. Most people get this trivia question wrong. Who was the killer in the first Friday the 13th?
Mommy.
It had a
right.
goalie mask. It was Canadian. That's all I
Yeah.
remember.
Just every time he killed somebody, he's like, A. And sorry.
Pamela. It was
Sorry.
Pamela.
Sorry, I
Sorry.
chopped your face off. A.
Well, I mean, what you're referring right now is just this overall miasma that the studios don't know how to have fun. No one's having fun. What I mean, it's interesting. It's a small deal, but it's actually a big deal if someone had their pulse on the cultural zeitgeist and went, "Oh my God, this Friday the 13th anniversary sort of thing is coming out. Let's have some fun with it." Right? I mean, it's a thing. Hey, Bill over there in the mailroom, you want to be in charge of this thing and just put some fun shit together? Have a party? Great. You know, and all these things add up. You know, it's like when I was working on magazines, one of the most important thing was going through the year and going, oh, okay, we're going to need the Halloween issue. We're going to need the Christmas issue. We need the, you know, all these. So we've got these issues that already we know based on existing days of the year, right? And I just don't get the feeling that the studios are going through, oh, you know what? This is actually the anniversary of Gone with the Wind. Oh, I mean, something, you know, they've got so many opportunities to what I would call keep a festival going all the time, because that's how cities keep relevant, is having constant festivals, and Montreal's the king of that. So like they're desperate to try to make movies, but they also don't know how to run a business. And you run a business by having fun with it. When's the next anniversary of the next big IP that you had?
Well, it's not just they don't know how to have fun, is that they despise other people having fun. You know, because they see someone else having fun and they just don't understand it, or they don't like it, or they're not part of that group. They have to destroy it or keep it down somehow.
Well, then have your own fun.
Did the it ought to be, somebody ought to have that task in the marketing department of every
That's
studio.
right.
Actually, right. Yeah. Did Miller wind up winning his copyright dispute, saying he wasn't?
So yes.
Yeah.
So how this
Tom,
goes
update
down.
us.
So the basics of it, the easiest version to understand is Sean S. Cunningham owns the title Friday the 13th. Okay. That's it. So the other team cannot use Friday the 13th, but they own everything else involved with it. Sans, maybe there's like one or two other things in the franchise that I think they can't use, but it's like minor bullshit that doesn't matter.
And that's why we don't have any new movies, right?
Partially.
What about that Crystal
Paramount
Lake
and New
TV
Line had
show?
plenty. That's in the works, but Paramount and New Line actually had plenty of time and opportunities to make these movies, and they just didn't.
Yep.
Right. There was a time where Paramount actually had a window because they made a deal over the rights, because years ago and back in the early 90s, New Line Cinema bought the rights to Jason Voorhees, and that was it. They didn't buy the Friday the 13th name or anything else in the franchise. They just bought the rights to Jason Voorhees and the rights to use the name Pamela Voorhees for Jason Goes to Hell. Outside of that, they didn't buy anything else. So they sat on those rights for the years. They made Freddy versus Jason, Jason X, and then they also worked in tandem with Paramount to do the remake. Now, there was a big rights dispute going on over the South Park movie and some other shit, and Nolan wanted to be involved in Interstellar, but he was a Warner Brothers director, and so it was this whole like kind of thing. So they like worked out this deal that they got the Friday the 13th Jason rights all back in Paramount for 5 years, and they could do whatever the fuck they wanted with them over this Interstellar deal. They did nothing, and their excuse was The Ring Part 2 or whatever the fuck it was didn't do well, the remake, and we're not going to go forward. Yeah, Rings didn't do well, so we're not doing Friday the 13th. It's like, in what world do you see those two in the same fucking equation other than their horror films, right? Because Friday the 13th literally costs $1.50 to make. All you need is some 30-year-old teenagers, a guy in a hockey mask, and a forest. That's all you fucking need.
And you can write the scripts
else
over the course of a weekend.
Right?
But something is happening, though. Maybe you know about this, because I keep hearing about this Jason universe which apparently is going to be like this comprehensive thing. Note, they do not use the title Friday the 13th,
They
and
can't,
it is
yeah.
supposed to be kicked off with Peacock's Crystal Lake. And then they're going to do like this multi-thing and across multiple media and stuff like that. And they have a new design for Jason Voorhees to that specific end. A design I personally think sucks, but hey, that's me.
Which is funny because Greg Nicotero did it. But yeah, no. So this Peacock series has been in hell forever, and it's now finally coming to fruition, I guess. Script might know a thing or two about this. But it's funny because this Friday the 13th series has a lot of parallels with Discovery. Brian Fuller was supposed to make the show. He actually
that's
set it all
Star
up.
Trek Discovery, to
Yeah,
be clear,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
To be
Right,
clear, yes.
Is
Yeah,
it A24 doing the show?
Yes, A24 is producing it. Brian had already built an entire set for Crystal Lake and even part of the town when they were asking, why is it costing so much for the show? Or they told them that they didn't have any money left or whatever, because they wanted to put a lot of the money in their pockets. And Brian was under the impression, well, this is my budget.
Hollywood
So they got
accounting.
into
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And they did the same thing they did with Discovery, brought in a new team, and they're not even using any of the stuff that Brian did. They're starting from scratch and spending more money again. So this show is already going to be in the hole to begin with.
Yep.
And
So-
yeah,
so
so they're
they're
supposed
spending
to
a
be
lot of
making
money
some
because
announcement today. Yeah.
It's a 1970s set, right? Like it's set and focused on Pamela.
I
Yeah?
don't know. Yeah, that's the idea. And
Okay.
let's just say I may or may not have the first two scripts for the original version.
Okay.
And I did read some of it, and it was pretty good because Brian's idea was to tell stories that would happen around the Friday the 13th movies that already exist. So it wasn't going to be like his Hannibal where he was going to completely re-envision it.
Yeah.
Like the first script is the night that Jason dies.
Mm.
So you got
Okay.
Pamela and the cops out looking in the water and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
yeah.
for Jason, and she refuses to give up, kind of thing.
Beautiful.
So like that's kind of like everything that would have happened in the series would have been around the movies.
It's like an
So-
expanded prequel type thing.
Kind of, but like I'm imagining like the first season would have been the night Jason dies, and then through the first season you kind of get through that up to the first movie, and then maybe the second season would pick up in between the first two movies.
So
And
sort of a horror Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
kind of, but we're supposed to see Jason, and there's tons of stuff that Jason can do in between. There's tons of stuff with Pamela when she's younger.
Well, this is all the
Getting
same
to
kind
the
of
first
format
film,
that
yeah.
Bates Motel was, right? Because it was
Exactly,
kind of a
they
prequel.
did compare it
yeah.
a little bit with that, yeah, but
Right.
only it wasn't going to undo anything that already existed.
Right.
So is Miller still involved or no?
Victor Miller is, yes.
Okay, okay.
He owns all the rights to everything except for the title Friday the 13th, which Sean S. Cunningham is off doing a whole new franchise now with the title Friday the 13th. I have no idea what he's going to do with it, but yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not going to have Jason Voorhees. And on screen, you see then the official logo for the Jason universe.
Which
Yeah,
I'm
and
surprised they got
also-
away with the 13 in there, but yeah.
Yeah. And also, I found something else here. I found the official look for Jason Voorhees, how the official new look for him, which personally I was not too impressed with. To me, this
Nobody
looks
was.
this looks exactly like
remake
the
Jason.
Platinum. Exactly, it's remake Jason.
Yep.
Which I hate, and a lot of other fans do.
Arrowverse. Yeah, it's Arrowverse, Jason. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Valiant Comics universe, but there's a character Bloodshot who actually battled Jason. It was sort of a surprise cameo, and it looked badass. Jason never used a hockey stick, by the way, Paul. So I don't think he actually is Canadian.
What's he doing with a goal? Yeah, what's he?
He's from New Jersey.
With,
The mask.
Cheevers.
He put the mask on in Friday the
He stole
13th
it.
3D.
He stole it.
Yeah.
Well, the guy he stole it from may have been Canadian, though.
Maybe.
Yes.
I don't know. Shelley was Jewish. That's
All I know is that it's
Well, that's fine. So he wasn't Jewish Canadian. Let's go with that.
That precludes you from being Canadian.
No,
Obviously.
I'm just saying that's all I know. I don't know if he's from British Columbia.
you should know that is a copy of the Chicago Blackhawks Jerry Cheevers goalie mask.
Ooh, trivia.
Well, here was my favorite design. Say what you will about the movie.
Mhm.
This was always one of my favorite designs right here from Jason Goes to Hell. I love that design.
I don't like lumpy-headed Jason.
I
That
don't
was
mind it.
that was a great design. That was a terrible movie. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to speak to the movie, but I love how the mask is so much of a part of him that it's like fused into his skin now.
Mhm.
Kind of like how Garth explains underwear in Wayne's World. At first it's constrictive, but then it becomes a part of you. Anyway,
I did
speaking of
enjoy
you-
Jason versus Freddy versus Jason. I enjoyed that. That was cheese as all get out.
I enjoy the hell out of it. Just
Yeah.
one problem, and that's the wrong actor playing Jason. They had Ken
Agreed.
Churchinger playing Jason, and it's just pure coincidence, and no one can really explain why, but they needed to have Kane Hodder, who is the single greatest Jason Voorhees there ever was. It's like 10 years ago, I had like a binge of going through the Friday the 13th movies with my significant other, who isn't necessarily into that kind of movies. But we watched all of them those, and she was like, "Okay, you know what? That was kind of cool. Let's put on another one." And then we got to part 7. She didn't know anything about Kane Hodder or something. She's brand new to the property. She don't know any of the names. It's just people getting killed by a boogeyman. And then Kane Hodder steps on the screen, and her reaction was instant. It was like, there. Took them 7 movies, but there they nailed it. That's Jason.
She
And
just
that
liked
was
it because that's
someone-
Carrie versus Jason.
I don't know, but exactly, but she recognized it instantly as in there. That's leagues and bounds different. The movie isn't any better than the previous ones, but that body right there, that's Jason.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, so we'll see. There's supposed to be some announcements today. I don't think we're gonna get a trailer or anything like that. I don't think they're far enough along for that to happen. But we did get a trailer yesterday, didn't we, Andre?
We did. We got a teaser of sorts for a project that has been teased on and off for, well, not quite 45
About
years.
45 years almost, yeah.
But not too far off.
Well,
away
I
from
mean,
that
teased
either.
since the original movie, honestly. Remember?
Yeah.
The Search for More Money.
Will we ever meet again? God willing, we'll see each other again. And Spaceballs 2, The Search for More Money.
Exactly. It's been teased since the day it came out.
And yesterday we got the official announcement and the teaser trailer release for Spaceballs 2, where the lead himself, Mr. Yoda, Mel Brooks, is coming back for his most iconic role
Yogurt.
at the tender young age of 98. He's reprising his signature role. Not only that, Rick Moranis, who sat out Ghostbusters revivals and everything like that, he is coming back as Lord Helmet.
That's the bigger headline to me. I mean,
Yeah,
Brooks coming out.
really?
Yeah.
We'll get
Yeah.
into that in just a moment, but yeah, so this is quite the trailer here. 38 years ago, there was only one Star Wars trilogy, but since then there have been a prequel trilogy, a sequel trilogy, a sequel to the prequel, a prequel to the sequel, countless TV spin-offs, a spin-off of the TV spin-off, which is both a prequel and a sequel, not to mention 2 Dunes, 7 Jurassic Parks, 2 Avatars, plus 3 upcoming Avatars, making it 5 Avatars, 36 MCU movies with 2 different Robert Downey Jr.'s, DCU attempt number 1, DCU attempt number 2, an animated Lion King, a live-action animated Lion King. It's like they're listening to us. A live-action animated Lion King prequel, 8 Harry Potter movies, a TV series remaking the 8 Harry Potter movies, a whole streaming service of Star Trek. That is funny. 7 Alien movies, 2 of which were also Predator movies, not to be mistaken for the 6 Predator movies that are not also Alien movies. 1 Prometheus, which is kind of an Alien movie. 4 Beatles movies. Oh, and Oppenheimer. But in 38 years, there has only ever been 1 Spaceballs, and that's all there ever should have been. But, as Mel Brooks says here, okay, I'm trying not to get nailed with music here. Until now.
After 40 years, we asked, what do the fans want? But instead, we're making this movie.
Now that is kind of funny, but there's some red flags here, Andre, but we'll get into that. So what's everybody's initial reaction to the teaser trailer? Let's start with Paul, since he laughed at Mr. Brooks.
Well, I don't know what they're going to be making fun of. There's obviously lots.
Yeah, what are they not going to making fun of? They pick and choose. You have 40 years of pop culture to choose from.
First of all, I thought Spaceballs was late to the game to begin with. It
You're
should
not
have come
wrong.
out earlier. I thought, yeah, that's quite the span of time. And Mel Brooks admitted that he's a lazy writer. And in this particular case, yeah, there's lots of stuff to make fun of Star Wars, especially within the context of what we talk about on a fairly regular basis. But is Mel Brooks, 96-year-old Mel Brooks, going to be connected to the YouTube zeitgeist about, what's going on with the franchise?
You know what?
don't
I think there's.
so.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry about that. I just had to shoot in right away. Connected to the zeitgeist. Look at the people who are in control of the biggest franchises that are right now: Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who. How out of touch are they?
Yeah,
I
there's
think
Spaceballs.
there's actually a bigger chance that this 98-year-old man is connected to the zeitgeist than that these guys who have been destroying pop culture for the past decade are.
Andre, there's a problem, and I was saving this. Unfortunately, Mel is probably only going to be here for a cameo. And they probably already shot it because he'll probably be dead by the time the movie comes
Oh yeah,
out.
he's got nothing to do with. He's got nothing to do with the movie.
You know who is writing the film?
Josh Gad.
Yeah.
Josh fucking Gad.
That's a fucking issue.
Also starring in it somewhere.
Well, the other two writers that wrote Spaceballs with Mel Brooks have died. So
yeah.
Well, Josh apparently persuaded Mel to do it, and Josh is actually directing a Chris Farley movie.
Oh, great! Is he Chris Farley?
For fuck's sake!
No, he's not Chris Farley. It's even worse. It's like it's going to be a dark movie. What's the guy's name that starred in the?
I didn't even know about this. Now
Clint Eastwood movie about the security guard at.
Richard Jewell.
Yeah, what's that actor's name? Hauser.
Okay.
How? He's like older than what Farley was when he died.
I know. Well,
what
it's just going to be something dark. So now
this is like worse than fucking Dennis Quaid playing Jerry Lee Lewis as an 18-year-old at 30. What the fuck is this?
This is a red flag.
Jesus Christ.
De-aging, Tom. De-aging technology.
The initial red flag is the fact that Josh Gad worked on History of the World Part 2 for Hulu.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Bingo,
yes.
Script. Now, Script is going to come in and educate us a little bit.
Educate us, sir.
I mean, the sad point here is that what made Spaceballs so great is that it was still an original story that was making fun of science fiction overall. It made fun of Transformers, Star Wars, Star Trek, a little bit of Doctor Who, some Dune.
It was like Blazing Saddles in space. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It would be a big mistake if they tried to make a sequel to Spaceballs a direct parody or a commentary on the mistakes that have been happening in science fiction for Hollywood. They should actually do another type of original story that's just really goofy characters that are parodying other classical fiction, science fiction characters. Because the moment you get it into a bit more of a meta commentary is the moment it loses the luster that will allow this to actually transcend decades. Because Spaceballs itself, what is that plot? It's basically one planet stealing the air from another planet, and then the princess wanting to get a marriage. I mean, there's a lot of jokes they could do in commentary in there. Like they could say, yeah, the shield around Juridia, yeah, this Star Wars stole that from us because they had the shield around Scarif and Rogue One. If they don't make a joke about how they're doing like a day and date streaming this movie at the same time it's in theaters or as they're making it, then that's going to be a pretty big
the instant video joke.
Yeah, basically just the next phase of that. It really it's 20 years too late. And they also did a cartoon show that was terrible.
Script.
Yeah,
very funny joke where someone could turn to the camera in the theater saying, "Why are you wasting your money watching it here?
It's streaming right now on Amazon."
Yeah, like what are you stupid?
You could be watching it on your phone and on the theater at the same time. No, and here's my pitch: Spaceballs 3, The Search for Spaceballs 2. And that's how you comment on all the sequels and other spin-off bullshit, right?
Like I said, I don't know.
Spaceballs the sequel,
Yeah,
I don't know
well, that's
what it
probably
is
what
that
it'll be
they're going to
called.
be parodying or commenting on. That's my. I
No,
don't-
Yeah,
here's
no,
what they should
because-
be doing. Sorry, Mel Brooks should be. If he's going to do anything, he should be doing a parody of superhero movies. This is done. Spaceballs is
Everybody
done.
got
It's a
that?
one-off. Should have been a one-off. We don't need a sequel.
I
We don't need
agree.
more commentary on that. There's another genre he could be mining for comedy, and this isn't it.
Well, Chris, what's your reaction to everything here?
I mean, I'm with everybody else. It feels like it's going to be a bunch of dad jokes, and you know, it does have promise. Like watching that trailer, teaser, whatever. You know, it looked like all the jokes were right there. This is going to be like a Hot Shots Part 2 did with action films. I guess you could do more about sequels and prequels and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like all the best jokes are going to be front loaded. And by the time you get about 15 minutes into this thing, you're going to be ready to tap out. I don't know. I don't have any hope for it at all. I don't even think with the power of the Schwartz that they're going to be able to make this thing any good. And I don't trust Josh Gad. So.
No.
I mean, if I got handed the opportunity, the first thing I would do is I want to create a character named Strawberries that is a partner to Yogurt from that we just never saw.
Well, I can already tell you who Josh Gad is going to play. If it's not obvious, he's going to be
Pizza the
Barf
Hut.
Jr.
Oh,
No, he's going
I
to be
thought
Barf Jr.
Yeah.
Let's be
Oh.
fucking real here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because they have to
Okay.
address that John Candy's no longer with us.
Yep.
Half the
Yeah.
cast is gone.
Yep.
Right? And where's Daphne Zuniga? Nobody even mentioned her.
She's
Yeah.
supposed to be in it. She's supposed
I
to be in it.
Hope she's
And
back.
Now-
Pullman's son is in it. And what I
So you
hope
know
is
who he's going to play.
I hope Pullman's son plays Clone Star. That's just what I hope happens.
Now, that's funnier than probably what'll be in the movie. Unfortunately, he's just going to end up playing their son.
I know.
Because I bet you, maybe even the Schwartz Awakens might even end up being the title because they put that at the end of the trailer.
Well, you can't make fun of anything that Disney has done with Star Wars because nobody really cares about it.
Right.
There's no value in parodying how bad it was.
Yeah.
That's not funny.
No.
And it's also way past
Expiration date. Yeah.
expiration date also.
I mean,
So, yeah.
if it's self-referentially making fun of Mel Brooks movies, maybe, I guess. I mean, you're right, Paul. Nobody's attached to anything that this would naturally be designed to make fun of.
They're not going to make fun of the Acolyte. So
Well, that's the problem, right?
that's the issue. Now, if Gad was involved in History of the World Part 2, that was beyond dreadful.
Mm-hmm.
Just staggeringly bad. I don't know how that script got past anybody.
Well, Scribe, let's get your reaction to this.
Oh, I mean, like you say, the first red flag was Josh Gad's involved in this. He's the driving force behind it. He's put himself in the movie. I've never experienced anything related to Josh Gad as a main anything that I found entertaining or funny. The only draw for me in this is the nostalgia, the member berries, and everything, and the sentimentality of seeing Rick Moranis back on screen playing the character. That's really it. I mean, the only thing that interests me about this is like, wow, they really convinced him to come back for this. So people who love that movie will want to see, those actors maybe playing those characters again in some way, shape, or form. But the core of the film, like you guys say, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say that hasn't already been said or that isn't already about 10 years too late as far as like commenting on Star Wars or something else. It's the wrong movie, wrong genre. I'm not, and I don't, even if somehow this defies expectations and becomes meta on some other level, I wouldn't trust Josh Gad to be able to pull that off in an intelligent fashion. So.
Well, again, that's antithetical to what Spaceballs is. It's its own original story that takes characters from other science fiction stuff and reinterprets them for their own way. Like Lone Star is wearing Indiana Jones clothes, but he's technically Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
And
he's kind of a mix between Han and Luke in the story.
Well, and
yeah.
the other thing too is that Spaceballs was 100% Borscht Belt.
Yeah.
And that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to duplicate that. And I wouldn't even try.
No, I watched it last night, and I just don't see how they can do this necessarily now. And look, I'm glad to see Rick Moranis back, but I'm kind of also pissed at him for not doing anything for Ghostbusters. because they tried desperately to get him in the
I think he made a wise decision. Ghostbusters. Neither of the new movies really impressed me.
Well, they didn't even
all that
offer him
much,
in
trust me.
Frozen Empire or whatever. And I'm not talking about that one, but he should have been in the Afterlife. And regardless if it was a glorified cameo, he was their lawyer. He should have been the guy knocking on the door, going, "I'm sorry to hear about your dad, but this fell between the cracks of my."
No, he became a lawyer in part two.
In part two, and he should be knocking on a door, going, "Sorry, it took me so long to get here. This fell between the cracks in my seat in my car, and I finally found it. But here's the deed to your dad's house." You know, and it's like, my dad died 10 years ago. Like, what the fuck? You know, like almost however many years ago or something like that. And it's like, yeah, I finally found it. There's his cameo. That would have been enough for me. But then he signs on to this Honey, I Shrunk the Kids remake or reboot that never happened with Josh Gad. And that kind of leads us here to this. That's kind of what happened was that
what is Josh Gad's draw? Seriously,
I don't know.
He was in the stage play for Book of Mormon.
I was just going to say, he's the worst thing that fucking Trey Parker and Matt Stone have ever done.
He was Olaf in Frozen.
That's his only claim to fame. Olaf.
I
he was gay. What gay little flu?
Dan Fogler would be better as Barf's son.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I wonder how much money Amazon is throwing at this, because that would grease a lot of resistant wheels.
Oh, I'm sure they're throwing a lot at this, because even though I agree with Paul that Spaceballs was probably 5 years a little late coming to the table, because it didn't do massive at the box office. It did okay.
Yeah.
But here's what it did do. Believe it or not, this is Mel Brooks's #1 selling video, above Blazing Saddles, above Young Frankenstein. He does not understand it himself, but I can tell you why, because of its connection to Star Wars.
That's right.
That's why.
Period.
But that being said, I'm afraid for this, because we got some other red flags. I want to get Andre's reaction before we get into
I was super excited
until
I heard about.
I was going to say, I want to set this up for you, because Andre actually has a personal connection with this movie that most people don't.
This is true. Spaceballs, it's my Star Wars. And I mean that quite literally. I did not see Star Wars until it was too late. Like, I saw Star Wars for the first time in my late teens. And you know what happened then when I saw Star Wars for the first time? I was like, holy shit, Spaceballs is a parody of this. Because I had no idea up until that point. I've never seen Star Wars. I didn't know the iconic for anything like that. It's like only then was that it hit, like, holy shit, this thing that I've grown up with, because I grew up with Spaceballs. I grew up with Spaceballs as an original sci-fi property that I absolutely loved. Like, my favorite spaceship in all of fiction, it isn't the Millennium Falcon. It isn't the Enterprise, either no letter A, B, C, D, or E, or anything like that. No, it's Spaceball 1. That's like my favorite, starship and stuff like that, right? So yeah, I do have a very special relationship with Spaceballs. And the good thing is that original is going to be untainted no matter what, just like it remained untainted through the animated series, which I never saw. But that Josh Gad is the one that's helming this now. Yeah, that really does kill my hype and excitement for part 2 here, because he is the exact kind of both actor, filmmaker, and creative that Spaceballs 2 needs to parody. It doesn't need to be made by him, because him making it automatically precludes it's parodying and satirizing the very trends that it needs to satirize, because Josh Gad embodies them. So yeah, that's why you should.
Well, and we haven't even got to the director yet either.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to the bad part. Is what you mean?
Well, Gad is bad enough, and then you got the director, who is the guy who did that documentary that Paul is actually kind of familiar with, about Will Ferrell and his gay trans buddy.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love how Paul just died.
that I don't want to say too many things about that particular documentary.
Yeah, but it didn't sound. You didn't. You said some things about it before, and that's who the director of this is. The other thing,
Well,
this
your
guy's
silence
directed
speaks volumes, just to
Yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah.
The other most probably thing that you may have heard of that this guy had anything to do with was a couple of years back. He directed that Strays movie with Jamie Foxx and Will Ferrell, the talking dog movie.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Oh, I forgot
Which
about that.
It was
wonder
okay,
why.
but I'm like, this movie could have been so much better than it was. But anyhow,
Mm.
that's another story altogether. But so this is who we're getting. And so the upside in the cast is, yes, we're getting Bill Pullman back. We're getting Rick Moranis back. Daphne Zuniga is supposed to be coming back.
Now,
Mel
Tom,
Brooks will be doing a cameo. Yes, go ahead.
what about the writer? Aren't you a big fan of the Mutant Mayhem writer?
Oh yeah, that's that too. I thought Gad was writing it, so he's not even writing it.
He's one
He's
of
one of three. He's
Oh
one of
yeah,
three.
yeah, the Mutant Mayhem
Benji,
writer.
Samet, and Dan Hernandez.
Oh,
I love that.
It just gets worse and
Yeah.
worse. The more you look at this, it just gets worse.
Oh, it gets better yet because yes, we're gonna have Bill Pullman's son in here, but I didn't get to the big red flag in the cast.
Oh boy.
What's that?
Kiki.
fucking
Oh, yes.
Palmer, and most
The
people are
Bill-
like, "Who the fuck is
Yeah.
Kiki Palmer?"
She's the Bill Murray Slayer.
Yes, she's the one who tried to get Bill Murray canceled and just basically got a movie canceled. Is what she
Yeah,
did.
Aziz Ansari's movie got completely
Yeah.
tanked because, yeah.
yeah. She's the Aquila and the Bee chick, right?
Yeah,
Can
Is
she
she?
spell
Okay.
fail?
I was gonna say all I know is that she's supposedly been in the industry for almost like 30 fucking years, and nobody knows who she is. I can say her fucking name, and everybody's like, "Who? Who?"
She was funny in that most
Rent.
recent film.
Was it
She
called
did actually
Rent?
have a hit. Yeah,
What
more
was
recently.
that called?
Ugh.
What was the movie? I
it's-
want to
I
I
say
can't remember, but
No,
Paulie
right?
was in here praising it. But yeah,
One of them days.
One of
Oh,
them days.
one of them
yes.
days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, right.
She was in Nope, that Jordan Peele flick, which, I mean, it was
No.
fine, but she sort of
Yeah.
just plays the same kind of character every time. I don't really have a problem with her, except for personally about the what she does behind the scenes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that Bill Murray thing soured her.
Yeah.
Like, you weren't even on my radar before Chicky Poo, and now you're in my crosshairs.
Yeah.
Like, who in the world tries to get Bill fucking Murray canceled? Right?
She does.
Like, that is exactly. That's the problem right there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you talk about lack of professionalism. It's like, let's air the dirty laundry during production before we're even finished. And like,
And it didn't have anything to do with her. That was the
No.
stupid part.
No.
Exactly. It wasn't her.
She's really got Rachel Zegler vibes, you know?
Mm.
And who the fuck would she be playing other than probably a new princess or something?
Yeah, that's what she is. Yeah, sure.
She could play the new Dot Matrix. That way we won't have to see her. We just hear
Oh.
her.
And that's the other sad part is we got no Joan Rivers, no
Yeah.
John Candy.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the other supporting cast is gone.
Is Colonel Sanders still alive? I apologize.
Oh, that
Actor, yeah, he's still around. I
Think
think.
he
Okay,
is still-
good. Yeah, I
I
wasn't
mean,
sure.
if they wanted to do a nice little nod joke, they'd have a fully computer animated character because that's what Star Wars
Right.
has pioneered
Yeah,
since
exactly.
then. So that could
Exactly.
be Kiki Palmer. So that we don't have
Honestly, and they missed out on the opportunities they had in the prequel because that was one of the only semi decent animated episodes. Was the one where they told the prequel story with Dark Helmet as a little kid making fun of Episode 1, right? And it still wasn't even that good.
Yeah.
But shit, I want to be excited for this. A lot of people were talking about this yesterday,
Yeah.
and I hated to be the guy that was kind of like the dooms person going like, yeah, but here's what we got to worry about.
Well, this is like
And-
every Marvel movie or every time that I hear about something from my childhood now that's like going to be, it's going to be put into this, that, and the other. And I just go, I don't trust you guys. I just don't trust you guys anymore. You've completely lost my faith that you're going to produce something that I as a fan would actually appreciate or love. It's like, hey, wouldn't it be great if we did a Midnight Suns movie with like Ghost Rider and Blade and everything? But yeah, that would be great. Please don't do it.
But that's actually it's a really good point as well, because I used to have that feeling before, like, yes, they're adapting something I love. I can't wait for
Yeah.
it. Whereas now it's exactly as you're describing, Scribe. It's like they're adapting something I've wanted for years. Oh shit, not now when they're not capable of doing it.
Exactly.
Give it 10 years. Let's see then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mel has very much been a cash whore. I mean,
Oh yeah.
let's be honest.
He's a
we-
producer.
Well, Yeah.
Well, and the producers here in Toronto closed because he had negotiated the largest percentage cut, I think, of any production company for a live show, and they couldn't sustain it. He was just sucking it dry.
Oh
So-
yeah, that was off the theater that and Young, because Sean Cullen
Yeah.
was in that one. I
Yeah.
was hanging out with him when he was doing that. He loved
Yeah.
it until they told him like, yeah, we're not making any money here.
Yeah, we're not making
Well,
any money. So, but he doesn't care. And the thing is, and I shouldn't. Okay, that now I'm complaining about greed, but you cut the deal that you want to cut, and people either agree with it or not agree with it. There's no one is holding a gun to someone's head to say.
I mean, they were going to make a Spaceballs 2 with or without him.
um,
One way or
Probably.
another.
Yeah.
probably
eventually.
it's Spaceballs 2. It's not necessary.
No.
No,
Well, like
but
Matrix
I mean,
4, they had to do something with
yeah,
the
no,
property.
but
yeah.
script will be the first to kind of back me up on this. As much as we love Mel Brooks and he deserves tons and tons of credit for what he has given us in the history of film and comedy, he is not really the one who wrote a lot of the stuff that we give him credit for.
Correct.
Right? Like Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein and all that kind of stuff.
Well, Young Frankenstein wasn't him.
Yeah, that was
yeah.
totally Gene Wilder, right?
Yeah,
I mean, so you know exactly where I'm going with this, and I love him to death. But again, like you guys said, the problem is he had 2 other writers with him on Spaceballs that also were people that worked with him too that helped him, and he just kind of more or less was directing and acting in Spaceballs more than anything.
Sure, that's fine. However, he did write and direct The Producers, which is one of the finest comedy movies.
Absolutely, and
all
I'm not trying to
time.
take that
So
away from him.
All things are forgiven.
Well, it
don't
took him 15 years to do that, right, and direct that, which was worth it. But the other part too is like he literally pulled the veil behind how production works in a lot of cases. Like really just borrowing money, hoping that you get using percentages as a return, and then hoping that you get a hit in order to make some money. But then you realize, oh wait, if you just take all the money and you produce a bomb, you don't have to pay anyone back, and you're good to go.
And that movie, I saw it not too long ago, and I thought I got over the Springtime for Hitler. I know,
Still
but
good.
it still just shakes that tree. I'm sorry. I mean, just everything. The dancing German girls with beer stein bras and pretzel
Lederhosen.
pasties. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, what a movie!
We'll say that the German dance the best in Rammstein videos. It's, yeah,
Yes, since it is the best.
yeah.
Yeah, Rammstein is. You know what? Rammstein's really good for. I found playing golf. I play much better
I did not see that coming.
Wow.
when I just ignore everything, put the little earplugs in, and play Rammstein, and I'm just rocking as I come up to the tee.
I want to see this now. This is
Boy, that's some
I
Happy Gilmore stuff
listened to
right there.
Rammstein while lifting weights, but yeah, what
I think
do
about
see that
lifting
giving
weights
you some
while I listen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are just one fantastic band. Like just
Oh, they're amazing.
Try it for date night sometime.
Well,
Ramona's not a
we-
big
we-
Rammstein fan.
Okay. All right.
Well, you just be very selective with the song, and it's great for a date night too.
Maybe.
I
Or
have
just
one
slip
question.
it in, just when they least expect it.
I have one question to
On.
get us out of
Oh,
the
yeah.
Spaceballs thing. Where's Michael Winslow? Because we lost the beeps, we
Ooh.
lost the creeps, and we lost the sweeps.
Yeah,
The what? And the what? And the what?
well, he's dead.
That's not all he's lost. No, Michael Winslow's still with us.
Is he dead? No, surely.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
No, he's still alive. Yeah.
I think
He's
I
still
just
with
saw
us.
him in something actually. Not too
Yeah,
long
he's
ago.
around.
My apologies, Michael. I'm sorry.
It's the sound
Yeah, he's
effects
still
guy,
around.
Paul.
Yeah, he's one of the few members of Police Academy to still be alive. I lost the beeps, I lost the creeps, and I lost the sweeps. That's not all he's lost.
I want to have Dave Chappelle as the son of the guy with the combing the desert.
Yes.
No,
Oh,
Tim
man.
Russ is still alive too. Tim Russ should actually find
Yeah, he's
something.
still alive.
and
He's
That's
still
true.
alive.
That's true. Tim Russ. That's
He's
true.
more
That's true.
famous for one line in one movie than he is for anything else he's
for
done.
Star Trek. Star Trek Voyager. Nope. It's like, dude, say the line.
We ain't found shit. Sir, are we taking this too literal? He said comb the desert, so we're combing the desert. You just ain't gonna
Well,
capture that.
actually,
shit
if I were
again.
to write the movie, that's how it started. I'd have Tim Russ combing the desert, and he finds Schwartz's cave finally after 40
There
years.
you go. That's
Yogurt. Only one man would
Oh,
dare
yeah,
give
yogurt.
me the raspberry. Lone Star. Let's see what you guys are talking about.
Uh-oh.
Packing Protons sends in a $5 super chat and says, hot take. If Israel didn't have Holy Land safe zone to fall back on, no one would care about that region. Let the Middle East fight amongst themselves. Yeah, this is a hot topic right now going on in the world. So I don't know
Yes,
if
from
anybody
the desert and Spaceballs to the desert over there.
I don't know if anybody really wanted to comment on it, but yeah.
That's a hot take. I'll say that.
You know what? It's not very funny.
No. Sometimes hot takes aren't. Sometimes they're just hot about something, and it's hot.
Well,
in
you
the
can also
desert.
ask how beneficial has outside help really been, and
Yeah,
we
right.
can leave it at that and move on.
Yeah,
Agreed.
people butting into things generally doesn't work. Yeah, you know,
That's the
when
main
my
lesson of
son
Star
and
Trek,
I
Next
are
Generation.
when my son and I are arguing with each other, and my wife pops in, it only gets worse.
Yep.
Yeah. Then we got Dark King that says, I want Norwegian Italian fusion restaurant called Olaf Garden. Andre Tom and make it happen. I'm all for this. Kotger, Kotger?
Kotker and spaghetti. That's a fantastic mix as it is. I highly recommend it. Yeah.
Although
Say that again.
anyone who wants
meatball.
anyone who wants Italian food should not be going to Olive Garden.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, you just broke Six's heart. Maybe Farak. How do you say that shit?
Poricor.
Poricor
Poricor, yeah. Oh, that was good. That was good. Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Then Dr. Longdongler sends a £1.99 with a thumbs up to remind you to pound that like button if you haven't done it already. Jeremiah Hembry says Wonder Woman movie and the Superman trailer. Well, we talked about both of those things respectively on Mead and the morning show the other day. But a real quick take on it. So yeah, we got an announcement that we will be getting a Wonder Woman movie. Anybody want to respond to that?
It will come out before the Batman sequel comes out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. Yeah. We can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay, well, first of all, it's funny because they just asked James Gunn again about the Batman and about the rumors that you've heard from people like me. He's like, oh, no. It's totally still happening. Totally going to happen. I can't wait to see the script.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me again, script, when the script was supposed to be turned in.
2022.
And then again.
Then again in 2023 for production in 2024, but then pushed back for 25. And
then in April.
Yeah, like the release date is now 2027, supposedly. And it's just, I mean, it's Batman. Like, I've never seen Warner Brothers drag their feet so much on this, and only because I think even the current regime was not too satisfied with the previous one. And I don't know what Matt Reeves is doing. I know he's going through some health issues. I do hope for the best of him as a result. But yeah, he is long overdue for this because there are, maybe 200 or 300 screenwriters in Hollywood who could have pumped out definitely a superior Batman movie to what we already previously got, or at least a lot of crappy ones that could definitely be refined and worked on with James Gunn's DCU team.
Yeah, and to add fuel to the fire, Colin Farrell also made it sound like it was going to be a while before he suited back up again.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we all responded to the Superman trailer from the other day, but script wasn't here. So what's your reaction now to the latest round of Superman trailers and whatnot? Because I think now we've got the Barbie team doing the...
Well, I mean... One of the things I've been suspecting is that Warner Brothers was not going to put a whole lot of money into marketing until the home stretch. And that's probably to save on expenses. But this last trailer had a lot of charm to it. It had something we've never seen with Superman live action before. So I'm actually interested in that. And David Cornsweet's line about stopping Lex Luthor, as hokey as it kind of feels like, by the words, there's something authentically Superman about that, and I dug it. So I'm looking forward to seeing this type of, like, it fits to me. It does fit what James Gunn and Peter Safran said when they first announced this, that Superman is a man who believes in kindness in a world that doesn't respect kindness anymore, type of thing. And I'm hoping we get that's what we get. It looks pretty promising from this trailer, and I'm also hoping that this trailer does follow the same rules of other James Gunn parts, where nothing in that trailer is from the third act.
Did you guys notice the teeth getting knocked out actually hitting?
Yeah,
the
I like
glass
that. I
of
thought
the
that was,
camera.
It
Yeah.
has been one of the bigger debates for the last 2 days. Yeah.
oh, that's so fun though.
Well, it's kind
Yeah.
of goofy, I guess, in a
I
certain
liked
way.
it, but a lot of people have been shitting on it. So
Okay. Well, I think some
Look-
people just don't want that. They don't want that wall breaking sort of thing in their Superman movies. It's okay.
I
for
think
some
the
characters.
tickets pre-sales have kind of shown that, and I've been saying this for a while, that we are kind of like the exception to the rule. Like the normies don't care. They're not having all the discourse we are.
Yeah.
They're not having the same conversations. There aren't nearly probably as many people asking why not Henry Cavill as you think.
Yeah.
Because they're selling well. People are fine with it. I'm not hearing the discourse elsewhere. But Fantastic Four is not selling all that great. And Jurassic World is, I wouldn't say it's not doing great, but it's not looking as good as I think they're hoping for. And this is one thing I was pointing out the other day. I think they've got some issues to deal with. But How to Train Your Dragon did very well last night. We're going to get into that here in just a few minutes, but we got a few more super chats to get into. We got Grimzilla, who says, for a member chat for 38 months, the meme this film will make alone from a post-Disney owned Star Wars will make this worth it. Can't wait for Blazing Saddles 2, Pure Offensive. Live on, Mel Brooks. Well, we already got a remake of Blazing Saddles. I bet you didn't know that. That animated cat movie from a few years back. What was it called? Fists of Fire or something like that. I don't remember what the hell it was called now.
Paws of something.
Paws of Fire, Paws of Fury, or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, that was actually a remake of Blazing Saddles, kids.
Really?
Yes.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. Mel took a check.
Wow.
Yeah, he's more than willing to take a check.
Oh, yes.
I think.
Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank.
Yep.
Wow.
That was the remake of Blazing Saddles, kids.
Michael Cera and Ricky Gervais in the voice cast in that.
And Mel Brooks also does a voice in there too. Yeah.
George Takei, which is always
Oh, Takei.
It almost felt like that movie was like a producer's kind of.
What studio? What studio did it?
I don't remember now.
It was distributed by Sky Cinema and Paramount under Nickelodeon Movies. Produced by Flying Tigers Entertainment, Align, GFM Animation, HB Wink Animation, and Anaventure Cinesight.
And so this was a serious movie that was supposed to go out and make someone money? Was that the intent?
It
No,
came
and it
out
turned
in
out, yeah.
2022. Yeah. It was,
And it turned out like an actual producer situation, Paul. Like they ended up making the movie twice. Like they ended up reanimating a bunch of it. And it was supposed to be out like a couple of years ago. And then it finally like quietly squeaked out in 2022 to no business whatsoever. Yeah.
Jeepers.
Yeah. It almost felt like a weird kind of producer scam. It's like, what is going on here? Like, anyway, Hyperguyver 2 says apparently the word Grunka? How did I fucked that up. It's a real tearjerker. Tearjerker. Well, it's also hard to say.
Gratrunka.
Gråtrunka. I'm not even going to translate it. But
Oh, it's that sad?
the kind of.
What
Yes.
does it translate to? Like the death of 1,000 puppies or what?
Yeah. No, it's kind of like crying while jerking off.
Oh God!
oh no!
Beavis and Butthead need to learn that word.
Oh no!
Wow.
Oh, Pack and Proton says, you guys actually have a word for that. That's what's sad.
Well, if you were supposed to do the real deal.
Oh, shit. Pack and Proton says, Andre animation cell up for auction on eBay. Yeah, Pack and Protons did an awesome cell animation of Andre from the morning show intro. So
Cool.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, I'm impressed.
And then we got Flying Blind on a Rocket Cycle, who sent in a super sticker. Thank you for that, and the $2.99. And then we got that one already. Let's see here. Dark King is where we left off here. 50 months. That's right. 50 months, a milestone of sorts. With the MCU confirmed, how many more bombs can Marvel withstand? Surely nobody is going to notice the lack of eventuality. Hollywood makes money, right? Or likes money, right? Well, they used to like money.
I actually have a video coming about that. Even Variety did a story earlier today about how screwed Marvel is right about now. So, yeah, stay tuned. More to come.
Yeah, we'll see if they learn any lessons. Mark Daly says, how bad can Friday the 13th be? It's still Friday. Monday the 13th is I think he means day to look out for, or maybe not. Dan Marino, Kurt Warner, and Lance Parrish all wore 13, so how unlucky can it be?
Well, it's unlucky for someone, but you might be lucky at someone else's expense. Like Friday the 13th is a unlucky day for someone, but not necessarily you.
Friday the 13th was converted into bad luck in the Italian Roman Catholicism. Friday the 13th is a day of luck, neither good nor bad. So at some point, someone decided to make it bad luck, but that's really not its origin. It's just a day of luck.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, they covered that in the Da Vinci Code, I believe.
Really? I don't remember that part, but okay.
It's okay. It's a terrible.
I haven't seen the Da Vinci Code in like 20 years either, so yeah. Hollywood Burns sends in $14 to say thoughts on preschooler Doctor Who desperation. Yeah, we're getting a new Doctor Who animated series, I guess.
Really?
And it's aimed at young people, just like that Star Trek Prodigy. It's not made for us. It's made to hook a new generation.
Yeah.
All I can say to that is kind of, yes. So good luck with that. Let's see how that works.
Yeah, here's the difference. The camel was cool.
Yeah. And I look forward to seeing who is going to be the doctor in that thing. I'm sure it's going to be something Ncuti Gatwa like, because why else would they try to hook him while they're young?
I thought it was Billy Piper.
Well, she's the new
live
actual.
No, that's the new live action.
Oh,
but that
okay,
has nothing to do with the.
But I see. But I could see them crossing the two potentially.
Well, every animation now seems to be a ripoff of Rick and Morty.
Mm.
Even the Star Trek animation, what is Lower Decks? That's got the stupid Rick and Morty vibe.
Yeah,
the same kind of look and everything. Yeah,
some jokes. I mean,
well, if it isn't CGI animated, yeah, you're not wrong, Paul. It's that Rick and Morty style anymore. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then he goes on to bring up. This was another bit of news. Thoughts on 6 episode only whimper end to Strange New Worlds. So we got this news yesterday afternoon, and I sent this off to Andre as kind of a chuckle. So yeah, it looks like we may finally be reaching the end of Star Trek under the Kurtzman regime, at least for the time, it seems, because they did manage to squeak out another season of Strange New Worlds, but it's only a lousy 6 episodes.
Whew.
Prediction: all 6 will definitely be lousy.
Yes.
You're willing to put money on that?
Yeah. I don't think anyone here is going to take that bet, to put it that way.
all 6 will not actually be Star Trek.
And then Pack and Protons adds to that: Strange New Worlds canceled. No more barbecues.
Yeah.
That's something. They only got 4 seasons out of it then? Or 3? I can't remember. I've lost count. It's not 5.
I think the way they're stretching this out, it'll be 5 technically, but like that's the way they're looking at it. But like that's what I love about this in Discovery is like all 5 of their seasons is one season of fucking Generation. Like,
yeah.
I do feel bad for the Toronto production staff.
Well, I'm sure they can do something else.
I feel bad for Pinewood on Commissioner Street in Toronto because Secret Hideout has pretty much bought them out for better part of a decade, and then they're releasing it to other productions, turning a profit.
That stopped, I think, last year or the year before. Their lease was up.
their lease was up, but they got it renewed because they're doing Star Trek Academy through them.
Oh, okay.
Gosh, is that still
Yeah.
happening?
Oh yeah, it's happening. I've actually I've seen Robert Picardo a couple of times in my neck of the woods when I'm downtown, getting like fast food.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me, the people who are there are people out there complaining that Strange New Worlds deserves more than 6 episodes or whatever.
No.
But I mean, I remember I'm old enough to remember when 26 episodes was a season,
Yeah.
now it's this Netflix digestible 10 episodes you're supposed to be able to binge or whatever. And I don't know.
Well, 5 or 6 episodes. I mean, when I was growing up, I was used to that format for something like a British show where they'd have like 3 episodes for a series of Cracker or something with Robbie Coltrane, and that'd be a whole series. But yeah, it's bizarre. And the thing is, the quality of those short series on British television far, far surpass anything I've seen of short series in American television in the recent years.
Well, you got things like in recent years. Yeah, that caveat does hold true.
Yes, recent years.
Shows like Shogun and
miniseries, miniseries and stuff. Those
that's
are
what I
exceptions
in
too.
this
Yeah.
too. This is a 6-episode miniseries, right?
Yeah, I mean, a limited
Yes, that
series
is not going to be any good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
right.
supposed- it's not supposed to be a season of an ongoing franchise. Shogun was originally. Well, I mean, they're doing a second season now of Shogun. They shouldn't, as far as I'm concerned. But
I agree.
yeah, it's a one and done, closed loop kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of we did a couple of stories of this over on Bleeding Fool about the Shogun season 2. They're going beyond any available material for that, I
Right.
guess, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so they're just gonna be making up as they go along with no source material, which doesn't bode well. I think it's like
because there is other books in the series, although they're disconnected time.
yes,
right?
yeah, and I don't think they're all the same author, are they? I don't recall.
I thought they were, but I could be wrong.
I could be
Right.
mistaken. Okay.
I could be very well wrong because I don't know. But
Well, Strange New Worlds is canceled. 6 episodes.
Yay. The end.
thankfully. And then we got Packin' Protons who says, "Dear Andre, so Black and Asian Vikings don't exist. Seems like a simple thing for Hollywood to look up before making a movie."
Speaking
Well,
of which,
I was gonna say, I don't
sorry
think
to
this is-
disappoint, but no, there was never a Black or an Asian Viking.
For some reason, here we go again, just like with Beetlejuice. People are overlooking the Black Viking and going to see How to Train Your Dragon in droves because the movie did very well in its preview. With how much was it?
$11.1 million in combination with Thursday previews and Wednesday early access screenings.
So there you go.
Yep.
So I think it did a smidge better than Lilo and Stitch. So it's at least at this point poised to do a bit better than that. But I think it has a little more competition coming up. So we'll see. But yeah,
I'm curious with.
well last night.
I wanted to put this in real quick. Speaking of box office, with the planned, as far as I understand it, many protests about to apparently occur over the course of the weekend in major cities in the country. Do you think that's going to adversely affect box office returns with people avoiding downtown and metropolitan areas?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because the people that would never go see these movies are the ones that are going to be protesting. And yeah, it may be difficult to get to some of these places, but I honestly don't think it's going to pop off like it did in LA anywhere else. Not so much. I could be fucking wrong, especially after this morning what happened. We'll see. I would say that might distract some of these fuckers for a while. So, I don't know. Every time it happens around here, I laugh at it, and I should take some video of it. But almost every time I do, some idiot drags their kids along. So I don't. But like, it's funny because whenever there's one of these like nationwide protests, they have them one out front of our little town hall here, and there's like 3 people that every time show. It's hilarious.
And it's the same 3 people.
Yeah, but like I said, one chick always seems to bring her kids, so I don't want to videotape somebody with their kids there.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's the same sad 3 or 4 people exactly. Yeah.
Well, they got to get paid.
I heard they're not paying for this weekend. I don't know. But yeah, we'll see how this weekend does at the box office. But it's starting off pretty well for How to Train Your Dragon, at least.
That it does, yeah. Can be no argument about that. So after
No.
a good start, and then we'll see how it goes.
And then Hitchhiker 42, and this is the kind of thing Andre loves. He's been a member for 10 months, but says, "Wow, Bride of Frankenstein was 45 when Friday the 13th came out, which
Yeah.
means Bride of Frankenstein is 90 years old now."
Wow.
Yeah, which also means we are the same distance in time away from Friday the 13th as Friday the 13th was from Bride of Frankenstein. Imagine that.
Exactly.
Oh,
And how many
geez.
more Frankenstein movies were at this point?
Quite a few more than you have Friday the 13th movies.
Isn't
And
that sad?
Frankenstein movies are a hell of a lot more difficult to make.
Especially if you add in all the Hammer horror movies in
Yeah.
between. And, yeah.
And all the just also
And all the
Oh, sure.
assorted Hammer rip-offs.
Yes. And Frankenstein Unbound. Anybody remember that?
Gosh,
one?
there was once
That's a good one.
once it's in
That's
public
Corman's
domain.
Frankenstein.
Yeah. There's tons and tons of them. Iron Morgan sends in $10. Says, "Hi guys, Mel Brooks doesn't need makeup to play Joker." No, not really. Just paint him gold and give him ears. I also wish a Spaceballs sequel came out in the 90s so Chris Farley could play Barf's son, right? And all the original cast would still be alive. Yeah,
That's true.
it's too bad. And then Flash is in the house. How you doing, Yellow Flash? Sends in $20 to say the Batman is a better movie than Ghostbuster Frozen Empire. I don't know about that. Good on Rick telling them to take a hike. I don't know. To me, it feels kind of shitty, but the rumor is he was never a big fan of Louis Tully, I guess.
Yeah.
Because and now people are misquoting, and here's the thing that bothers me: is people are misquoting something he said for the remake and attributing it to the two actual sequels. Because he said he had no interest in doing a walk-on part. He's talking about the remake, guys. They offered him more money than almost every other cast member to come back for Afterlife, and he still didn't.
Thank God for that.
Well, yes and no. Afterlife, I think you'd have been great in. I'm talking about the remake.
I'm talking about the remake too. About the remake. Thank God he didn't do the remake.
He was the only one who had the balls to say no on that part. But that everybody's misquoting that quote for the other two. He just didn't do the other two. They didn't even bother asking him for Frozen Empire because after he said no for Afterlife, and he's like, "Fuck it." But yeah. And Flash has also been a member for 11 months. Bass Player 2011 If he says, "Yep, the whole new generation was introduced to Spaceballs when the prequel trilogy was coming out." Yep. And then Wildman of Yavin says, "Just joined in late. Yes, Rick Moranis is coming back." Well, fingers crossed it's good. Bass Player 2011 If he also says with $4.99, "You guys are forgetting the best gag in the film." Oh no, not again. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or oh shit, there goes the planet. That's another one of mine.
Spaceballs have gotten around before, evidently.
Yeah, Lost for Words says, "Great to catch the show live," saying hail to the chat and members of the panel. "Please don't ruin the first Spaceballs. We don't need a sequel." Yeah, hopefully this doesn't go to ludicrous speed and go to plaid. Go 1 for 1 sends in 50 Mexican to say, "I forgive the movie quality if it gives us the official Spaceballs, the flamethrower. The kids will love it. It'll make popcorn. I'll make popcorn."
I do want a Spaceballs the sweatshirt because that was funny.
That was
now
funny.
I got Spaceballs the t-shirt.
I do believe that flamethrower is what inspired Elon Musk to do his flamethrower.
Yeah.
There's your popcorn bucket right there.
The
Spaceballs
popcorn
the
buckets
flamethrower.
are going to be off the chain. That's for sure. Yeah.
Spaceballs the flamethrower. There's your popcorn bucket.
Or just
No,
Spaceballs
the popcorn bucket.
Yeah, there's going to be at least one of those, I'm sure.
And it's going to be red
big
and white with
helmet to the
Spaceballs
popcorn
written on
bucket.
it.
Yeah. And then Go 1 for 1 says, "American always get disappointed with Italian food. Not the food's fault. American food is so full of additives and fat that normal tastes like nothing." I don't know where you're getting this Go 1 for 1.
Yeah, not fat, sugar.
But I love Italian food, especially authentic Italian food.
Mm-hmm.
Once an American tastes authentic shit, it's like, holy shit, what have I been missing out on my whole life? So yeah, I don't know where you're hearing this from, but not in my neck of the woods. I mean, of course we were talking about the whole Olive Garden thing. Look, Olive Garden, it's more or less a glorified noodle restaurant. Like, let's be real. It's not even that Italian. That's kind of where we all agree, I think, on that.
It's not even good noodles. I mean, like, ugh.
Might as well go to East Side Mario's or something.
Six is really going to hate you guys this morning for that. But Toga Free sends in $4.99, says, "So you think Pedro Pascal will play in... Who do you think he'll play in Harry Potter? Umbridge, Bellatrix. He already likes dressing like women. Oh,
Is he in the series?
no, but it's just
Oh.
inevitable.
Okay, I thought these days I can't tell. Somebody says Pedro Pascal's going to be in something like, I could believe it,
Well,
but is it true?
It's inevitable.
Harry Potter isn't made by Disney though, so that gives a
That's
bit
true.
of a
That's true.
chance.
I just
well,
saw
Last
him
of
in
Us.
the
Last of Us is
trailer.
in Disney.
I just saw him in a trailer yesterday for a new movie.
Sure.
What the heck?
Oh, the Western?
Yeah.
Yeah, that premiered at Cannes.
Like, oh my God, Pedro again? Like, jeepers.
Well, he knows that in a couple of years he's not going to be working much ever, so he might as well take everything he can now.
Well, we don't know. Maybe, Hollywood loves him enough that they just keep giving him. Money.
They did kill off his character in The Last of Us, so HBO and Warner Brothers technically does need him back for another series.
Flashbacks. Yes. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. I did see the teaser trailer for Fallout 2. That looked like
yeah.
that looked good.
I loved Fallout Season 1.
We're gonna put a pin real quick in the well, let's just wrap them up because we only got a few more super chats here. Jesus Davila says smash the button, the like button. Thank you for that, Jesus. Pack and Proton says I actually like Star Trek Prodigy. Felt the most like Star Trek since the Enterprise.
Well, a lot of people say that.
Yep.
Yeah, but it was also made by I think a separate team aside from the Kurtzman team too. Valentine Puppy says a season 20 to 23 30-minute episodes, one every week. Yeah, that's what we used to get. Russell Hall says I don't care about Spaceballs 2. I will say that I agree that Star Wars Girl, they should have called it The Search for More Money. Well, it kind of is already.
Yeah.
But I know Andre has to leave us here along with some of our other panelists, but we did have one more story, so I don't know if he wants
Well,
to comment
there's
on it
the
or
album
not.
from Frank Zappa, which when I was a kid, I thought was a hilarious line. The album called "We're Only in It for the Money." That's a great album.
And Spinal Tap had "Give Me Some Money," the song. But anyway, an Acolyte producer was shot during the LA riots while protesting and then blames the cops.
What a shock that an Acolyte producer is involved in the protests. I'm utterly gobsmacked.
Yeah,
I
there's one.
can't believe it.
As if this person would be some kind of an, I don't know, activist or something.
Wow. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought that activists would be working on activist productions? Who could have seen that coming?
Did you
This
see what
person
the
should
Oh,
just
go ahead.
thank their lucky stars that the LAPD is using rubber bullets.
I was gonna say, wasn't the Florida governor or something like that come out, or somebody in Florida is like, not the governor, but somebody's like, if you do this shit, we will shoot you.
Oh yeah, the Florida sheriff down there. Yeah, he was like,
Yeah.
it's graveyard time. Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
he's
we will
talking-
fuck you up.
Yeah.
Hey, Polly.
Good morning. Hey,
Yeah.
Hey,
what a
Wally.
week.
Well, that's
So-
perfect. You're coming in just as I have to leave,
Yeah.
so then
Yeah.
the panel remains same
Intact,
size.
I guess.
Ollie can take over.
So
All right,
yeah,
have a great
so
rest of the
somebody's
stream.
in the
I
thick
have
of
to
it.
out.
All right, thank you for being here, Andre. Take care.
Bye, Andre.
See you, pal.
Bye.
So now we have somebody who's actually in the thick of it to kind of bring us up to speed on how things are going out there.
Thick of what?
In LA riots.
L.A.
Oh,
riot.
it's fine. There ain't no fucking riots.
And
Yeah.
where you're at.
It's all a
No,
psyop.
no. Seriously, this is such a con job by I don't even, you know what? Let's just say by media on all sides. It is a. I'm not saying there's not destruction. I'm not saying that.
Well, how the fuck did this motherfucker
But-
get shot?
What I'm saying is that it is a particular corridor in a particular part of downtown that all these idiots are going and wilding.
So it's isolated.
Los Angeles is fucking huge.
Yeah.
Right.
It's right. Come on. And but you know, and I know, man, it just takes one idiot to wreak havoc. And then if you're paid and you're a paid agitator, and it's not the mostly peaceful process. I'm so tired of both sides with their fucking one-liners. Right? I didn't even come on to talk about this. I wanted to come on and talk nerd stuff, Spaceballs.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you
No,
throw me
this was just...
throw me this. Here it goes. Right? What else
Go.
do you guys want to hear? Okay. People, you want to hear that the Democratic mayor did a horrible job. She did a horrible job. She cost a lot of millions in small businesses downtown. It wasn't until they were looted at night after these marches, whatever you want to call them, that the Downtown Business Association, which is very powerful, a lot of money down there, jewelry district, the whole thing. They sat down with the mayor and said, "Look, we're getting vandalized. We're getting graffiti, all that shit." That's when she laid the curfew.
Paulie,
Night's too late.
Paulie, the question I have is, did you get the large screen TV you always wanted?
Of course I did. I did. I got it the first night. Oh,
No, Best Buy doesn't carry shit no more.
Damn it.
Well, Apple got looted.
Still waiting for my new iPhone, Paul.
And
Yes.
Paulie, you could confirm this. The riots didn't really start until some Democratic apparatchik actually talked about, come on, let's come on down and do some agitating. I saw some individual calling people down to go to the ICE offices and protest, and so none of that started until he asked his minions to come. Am I correct there?
So listen, y'all in the chat, y'all gonna believe what you're gonna believe.
Sure.
I live here. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I trust you.
The super majority of the millions of Angelinos are fine. That's why when Tom said the box office weekend won't be affected by the big markets, he's absolutely correct.
Right.
There's just too many movie theaters. First of all, there's just too many movie theater choices in the big towns to go to. So I'm sorry. I didn't expect this, right? And it's like I did my coverage earlier this week. I really wanted to, we're gonna at the end when we go live today, we're gonna be covering our nerd stuff.
Yeah,
because it's also like it weighs on you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But listen, we could go over the timeline. It's all good.
We're done with it. We're done with it. Move on.
No, I was more so just to bring up the fact that this idiot got shot with rubber bullets. Was
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Well, what do you think you're going to go down there and cause you lay your hands on a cop?
Yeah.
Push back on a federal officer. What do you think's going to happen?
Come on, yeah.
What do you think's going to happen? It wasn't until like the fourth or fifth day that the Democratic leaders are saying, let's restrain ourselves. Let's peace with civil disobedience. It's like you guys are just out of your rocker, because you're right. Those first couple of days, they were talking about open resistance to ICE officers. Whether however you feel about how ICE operates, dude, those are federal agents, man. They don't fuck around.
Yeah.
Well, they're just making it more difficult too. On top of it all,
They're turning it into politics. They're making it political.
So you had that talk of resistance from the governor to Padilla, who got rolled yesterday, which is hilarious. To members of the city council. I mean, they're still the members of the city council are the biggest idiots to ask the chief of police, is there any way you can basically snitch on ICE to the community so the community be safer? He's like, that's illegal. That's obstruction of justice. No, we can't do that.
Yeah. And see, so I understand that, I guess some of the reason people are upset is there was some people who they felt were falsely taken by ICE, or who turned out to be actual either legal citizens or were shipped to countries that they didn't actually come from. Well, and then you go read a little deeper into it. What I'm finding out is there's literally maybe a handful of folks that were falsely arrested, and then the other folks that they're talking about that were taken to countries that they weren't originated from. Well, it's because the original countries wouldn't take them back because of their criminal records, right? They're leaving that part out.
Listen,
so I'm not saying they're perfect, but it's like they're making it all more difficult, if you ask me, as far as how to do this.
Again,
it's also garish and ghoulish. The very idea that this is happening, has to happen, is necessarily happening. There are laws being enforced, and it sucks when there are people who have established themselves here and are running a functional life where they're just keeping their head down trying to survive. And in a big operation like this, people are going to get their feelings hurt. People are going to get messed up. I'm sure 85% accuracy is not enough. 95% accuracy is not enough, but they'll never get 100% accuracy on this kind of thing. And people are going to get their feelings hurt, rightfully so. I get it. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's entitled to how they feel about it. But no, you don't lay hands on federal officers, no matter whether you think what they're doing is the right thing or the wrong thing, unless you're going to get into the find out phase at that point. So,
it's like they want a civil war at this point is what they're pushing for. And that's what you're going to
Well, I think that's what the paid agitators, because there is such a thing as paid agitators. I really think there are people in there, you just kind of get caught up in it, right? If there's like a food fight at school, right? You might have never instigated or even decided you were going to throw your mashed potatoes at anybody. But once something hits you in the head and everybody else is doing it, you may join in the fray. And that's what paid agitators wind up doing, is dragging other people into the very same sort of behavior. I hate to see it.
I would say anyone that's listening and that's thinking about, going down there, going down to any of these marches, and you put on a Trump shirt or you put in your whatever shirt, I would advise against it. I think it's almost just like, let the flame burn out. These guys are so pumped to fight, it's so funny that a lot of these leaders want to get arrested.
Well, and I think, it's because they want the headlines. And I think I agree with you wholeheartedly, Paulie. Like, especially for anybody who's on the other side of this, don't show up. Don't give it any attention, because you're 100% right. The more attention they get, the more, if you go down there and you argue with these folks, that's exactly what they want. Like you just said, they want to get arrested.
And you got to understand,
because
too,
they can get the headline, they can take the video of it. Yeah.
And then within the Latinidad, it's like you're seeing people just hardcore going after each other on social media because you're not taking a stance hard enough, or you voted, you publicly said who you voted for, and now you're saying it's hey, this is not right. They're tearing each other apart, from Eva Longoria to Ryan Garcia. I mean, it's like, how come Eva didn't call out Trump? How come she's supporting Israel? All this crazy stuff. And, yet all we're really talking about is federal officers enforcing the law. You don't like it, that's a whole nother argument. There's that paid agitator thing, right? Which is, I think, is really insidious. But then there's the whole thing of our youth, our next generation, just being completely miseducated, going into the too far left. And you hear them. You hear, this kid, I think she's 19. She drove her motorcycle into the LAPD, like a line of LAPD guys. I don't know if you saw this.
No, I don't think I saw this one.
Oh man, I'm surprised she didn't really hurt somebody. She definitely hit a lot of cops with her motorcycle. She had on her Mexico jersey shirt, the national football team, and they cuff her. For whatever reason, she breaks that line, and then they swarm. They get her. 19-year-old kid. Someone starts interviewing her, and I'm listening to this young person. She's in English, well-spoken, educated. I was just like, where did we fail this? Like, what happened here?
Well, when you convince an entire generation that they're facing imminent world destruction and the current president is literally Hitler, even intelligent people can be swayed if they're and especially with the tribalism and everything else. I mean, it just reminds me similarly of like the Branch Davidians, just as an example of like you have a cult that seems like it's wackadoo, and yet there are people in there who are college educated and they're not nuts when you talk to them. They sound completely reasoned, and yet somehow they found themselves. And we've seen it in people being conditioned or guided or convinced of things that are demonstrably not true, but they're convinced that it's the moral thing to do, that they're on the right side of history, etc.
When we go back to entertainment, right? Oh, I'm sorry, Scribe. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I unfortunately have to take off. I don't mean to drop it there, like, fart and leave the room, but unfortunately. Yeah.
Fart and leave the room.
Well, yeah. But just to plug stuff as I had an opportunity. Last night on TED Excellence, I did a TEDx talk. It was the first time I'd ever done a TEDx talk before where TEDx had already taken down the talk. They deleted it from their YouTube channel. And I was like, oh my gosh, what do I have here that I was able to capture before they decided to do that? They still have I think they still have the talk up from Ghislaine Maxwell. So what could possibly be in this talk? And what was it about? It was fairy tales teach boys and men the wrong lessons of masculinity.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
And I know, and it's really heavy. So I'll spoil it right here. I was wary. I was getting ready to hit the kill button on the stream because I didn't know, is there something in this that TEDx didn't know until it was published and they had to take it down? No, it's not. It's what you might expect, even after 10 years of this stuff of trying to vilify just the nature of masculinity or men as and boys as prospective villains just because they are what they are. But it was still interesting to hear it all the same. So if you're curious about that. And other than that, I hope everybody has an actually lucky Friday the 13th and good weekend ahead of you, and everybody stay safe. And if you are in a town where one of these things is going to happen, just stay away. Just don't even watch from home.
13th hockey mask on.
At the very least.
There's so much good content being produced by 4 or 5 of us on this panel that you can stay home and watch hours and hours of it.
But anyway, guys, nice seeing you guys, talking nerdy stuff. Everybody in the chat, have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye, guys.
And 16 hours of that is all by Paulie.
I am bailing also at this moment in time. Whenever Paulie shows up, I got to get out of here, man.
We got like 5 super chats. You can't wait that long.
I can. Yes, I can, sir.
Awesome. Because Dark King reminds us that Ruddles did All You Need Is Cash. That's correct.
That's correct. One of the great movies.
Yes, indeed. Dark King says, say Pedro Pascal 3 times and Paulie will appear. This is true.
Hey, I know you player haters, but hey, I ain't going anywhere.
We love you.
And then SFX 314 Sabertooth Raptor says the time for Spaceballs. Oh, we did this one already, didn't we? No, this is a different one, I guess. The time for Spaceballs 2 was while John Candy was alive. This won't be Top Gun Maverick. Go, Rick Moranis. Go, a great actor.
Who is this movie for? Spaceballs.
Wish it happened in the 90s.
Amazon MGM Studios.
Exactly, it's for Amazon.
For themselves. I mean, who's the audience? Besides us old guys.
Josh Gad and all his friends.
Yeah.
Which are really some of the worst comedians of this generation. If you can call them
they're not funny.
Yeah.
Dark King also says the deportations will affect Hollywood. No more laborers. Well, it's going to affect some industries that, and take note of that because those are the folks that are using this slave labor, basically.
Well, I'm very interested to see the president yesterday announcing there's going to be a resolution in regards to the farm workers.
Mm-hmm. Markson117B says also in LA everything's fine. Even had a small raid. There you go.
Panty raid? What happened?
Panty raid would be nice.
Panty raid.
And with that, we are wrapping it up. Let's let Chris go first so he can get out of here, and then we'll go Paul and Script and Paulie and get out of here.
Hey, I got nothing. It's Friday the 13th. Check out Bleeding Fool, bleedingfool.com, at Bleeding Fool on X, at Chris Brawley on Twitter, or X, I guess I still accidentally call it Twitter. I am happily writing 2025 on my checks. I'm still a boomer that occasionally writes checks. So I did eventually get that figured out. It takes me half the year to do it. Let's go pour one out for Strange New Worlds. And hopefully Pedro Pascal will take a break maybe for a little while. Let us miss him a little bit. And check out all these other guys' shows. They're all great. It was great having Script on here too, which is a rare treat. And I hope to see you guys Monday.
Thanks for being here, Chris. And then Paul, what do you got going on?
Well, I published today a video, sort of an additional response to a script, a critical drinker video that I liked, where he talked about the diminishing returns of Ballerina and Mad Max, and was it due to switching out from a male lead to a female lead, and I thought, and I mentioned it to him in a text, the notion of a business book that I've been following since 1991 called Crossing the Chasm, where there's a business logic that even if you have a successful business and you try some kind of brand extension, you need to treat it as if it's a startup, and not that something that's going to be instantly successful just because you're already successful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a great lesson in business, because I have found it to be true, and I've spoken with many CEOs, that there's a bit of hubris when you've created a successful product, that it's just going to be endlessly successful. And no, each new venture that you do, you need to treat it as if it's starting from scratch, because it could take as long to be successful as your original business. So I went, you know what? I wonder if these movies like Ballerina, where they think that just because it's attached to John Wick, it's going to be just as successful, so they should spend the same kind of money, if not more, on it. And I thought, wow, I wonder. Let's examine it under the concept of crossing the chasm from a business rules perspective. And I went, okay, yeah, it kind of makes sense that if you're going to try something like this, then you've got to drastically reduce the budget, see whether they like the new premise, because even though it's attached to your existing IP, there's no guarantee for success for it. And so that's what the video is about. I take a business analysis to this concept.
I finally saw it last night, the Ballerina.
And people have liked it.
It's a good film.
Right.
But Anna is great. It's like, I was like, damn, that's a movie star.
But they spent way too much money on it. That's the point.
I'm just telling you.
No. But I'm just talking from a business perspective. You need.
Well, they had to reshoot it.
Yeah, but no, Paul is right. Like, the initial budget was way too high too, and that was kind of what I was saying in the outside of this stuff too.
Hollywood is in a constant state of fear. They're afraid that they're going to miss out something that's going to be successful. They're also afraid that they spent an inhuman amount of money on something that turned out to not be successful.
Yeah, it was just too much money. Absolutely right.
So,
and
I don't know. It's too long for me. I fell asleep 3 or 4 times in that movie.
What time? Yeah, I could see that. I was like, okay, let's wrap it up towards the end. Yeah.
I mean, the fight choreography was great for the one-on-ones, but the biggest problem of that was it was a lot of one-on-ones. Like, there was literally 5 or 6 people coming after characters, and it was just they're fighting them one at a time.
It got a little video gamey towards the end. Yeah.
Anyway,
the first
also
half,
like every John Wick.
That's my. I just thought I would attach business rules onto a creative product and see what came from that theory. And so I did it. It's up there. You guys can agree or not agree with that premise.
Well, Kalekioki also sent us in a Rumble rant and says, Script Doctor, have to admit, excited for Gun Soups, and all his other aspects look superior to Man of Steel except for the visuals. It looks like something slated for TV instead of theaters, missing film grain. I think he's going for like this shot with a drone footage kind of look to it. But anyway, go ahead, Script.
Maybe. Again, like everything that's being shown is all digital anyways. So I mean, you're not going to have film grain on that regardless. So yeah, I mean, it's the newest generation. Nothing is really shot on film anymore unless it's a Christopher Nolan production.
It's pristine.
Well, Wes Anderson and a few others do, but yeah, not very many. There you go. And then we got Pack and Protons who says even the Minions have joined the riots. He sent me a picture here of
you got okay. It's funny that Script and Chado are here because we went down to downtown LA.
Yeah,
and ate at Philippe's.
Yep,
and,
great.
And that is, I want to say, and we drove. Remember,
we had to drive there.
We drove through Union Station and Olvera Street.
Yep.
that is right. That's right. That's the epicenter. And then you go, and then that's like the beginning of the that 4-block radius to where all that action is happening. Which is funny, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you guys were staying on the east side. I live on the west side. So it's like, unless you're like, go there specifically. What I don't, I don't like any of the violent stuff, but also too, the most dangerous thing is taking over that highway. It's so easy to take over that highway.
Yeah.
Those entrances are so small, and there's literally one highway entrance behind the federal building. That's why you're always seeing it getting take over. So yeah.
There you go. And with that,
had a great
let's get
time,
on
Bobby.
out of here.
Yep.
Script Doctor, you got a show tomorrow, right?
Yeah, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Me and my co-host are reviewing a script called "Spin the Bottle," which is a romantic comedy road trip. So we're gonna see if it's a good story, good comedy or not. The comedies that we've been reviewing so far that have been circulating around have been a little bit more better than bad. So that's always a nice sign.
Who's in that one?
It's not cast yet. It's just a screenplay.
That's right.
Around.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I love those, man.
But it's written
I
by
never
Jeff
say anything.
Gerstein,
I just listen to you.
So you need to see this before we move on. I'm sharing something here.
Oh my God! I just saw that photo the other day.
This is where Paulie took us.
Yep.
Yes, and with Alejandro, the director Alejandro, he's got a huge announcement coming up with his movie.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We're waiting, but that was man, we grubbed.
That was great.
That was a good night. It was
a
fantastic
night.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's just so great to whenever you can meet people that you stream with and nerd out and argue and have fun with, So,
but that's the restaurant that Paulie had mentioned. That's where we epicenter.
Yep.
There you go. All right, kids, take care of yourselves and each
other.
Bye,
everyone.
We'll see
Love you all.
Very
soon.
Says,
what are we doing with toxic masculinity? What's going on, Tom?
Hopefully get something going by Monday. I haven't had a chance to get it all together yet, so
all
hopefully
right.
soon. Take care, guys, and it's time for Koalas.
Koalas in the rain, koalas in the rain, no fucks given.